Greetings, Yes Also listeners. I am going on the road and I am bringing Yes Also. From September 10th to the 28th, I'll be at 3 improv festivals in a row: Burlington, Vermont, Berlin, Germany, and Omaha, Nebraska. In Vermont, I'll be doing a live episode recording of Yes Also with special guest Connor Ratliff, and I'm also doing shows and teaching workshops. For more info and tickets, go to bigpondimprov.com. On September 17th, I head to Berlin for more workshops, shows, and another live recording of Yes Also. For tickets and info, go to dasimprovfestival.com. That's D-A-S. It's German. And the last weekend in September, I'll be in Omaha, Nebraska, doing workshops, shows, and a big old Q&A. For tickets, go to omahacomedyfest.com. Hope to see you at one of these places, and bonus points if I see you at all 3. Wait, no. That'd be weird. Welcome to Yes Also. I'm Suzi Barrett. My guest today is Joe Fahey. Joe is a longtime teacher and performer in the LA community. He's on the Herald team Lohan at UCB, and he's also one of the hosts of One Big Jam at UCB, which is the jam that he's run for a few years there. We actually talk quite a bit about jams in this and get really specific about how to handle chaotic scenes, how to support scene partners who are at different levels than yourself, and a lot of other tools that apply to all good scene work. In part 2, we drill into some really specific teaching and coaching exercises that Joe loves, and some helpful frameworks and filters to play your scenes through. Part 2 is available by becoming a subscriber over at yesalso.supercast.com, where you will, of course, get double the content, including all of our Part 2s, our Q&A episodes, and lots of other bonus episodes. If you are in LA, you can see Joe on Herald Night on Monday nights at UCB with Lohan, or you can play with him in One Big Jam on Sunday nights at UCB at 5:30. And speaking of Joe, here's Joe. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. You were a requested guest when we very first started, I think like the second week of this pod happening, and on our little podcast thing, it's like, what guests would you like to see in the future? And it was Joe Fahey.
Whoa.
I was like, he's already on my list.
Whoa. I didn't even know I had that type of reputation.
You
That's
have
amazing.
that type of reputation.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Makes you feel nice.
We have great. We have a lot of ground to cover.
Yes.
You do a lot of different things. I want to start by talking about the Jam.
Yes.
You co-host the UCB Jam.
Yes.
Or one of them. Because there's a couple UCB Jams
There
now.
is. Yeah. When UCB came back, I reached out to Christine and I was like, hey, I want to do the Jam. It's like a staple, right? And yeah, at the time, PJ McCormick also was like, yeah, I'm going to do this jam. And then we ended up just like combining our jams into this one big jam, which is what we call it, right?
Gotcha.
So yeah, when it came back, like one of the first things I was like, oh, I want to get the jam back, right?
What made you want to do that?
I honestly, a lot of people don't like jams, like especially when they're they're very intimidated by it. But I went to every jam. Like I was like very much into the jam world. And then,
describe that. What did you like about it that was different from other improv or what was it doing for you and your growth?
I think, obviously watching like veteran improvisers handle situations was really nice, like seeing it from the audience perspective, and then also getting that feeling of like being like, oh, maybe I'm doing too much here, or maybe I'm not doing enough here, like in the moment sort of realization, audience response, right? So there's that aspect of it, and then also having that like chaos and trying to navigate the chaos, right?
Yeah.
Navigate that chaotic water.
Doing a little bit of, like staying calm
Yes.
despite what could make you panic.
Yes.
Putting some tie downs to keep the hot air balloon from floating away.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. With the hot air balloon was blown in the wind. It was heading towards the airport. and
which was on fire.
And and then a dictator was overlooking it all.
Right.
Yeah, and we were just like, oh no.
You're like, at least I have 3 sandbags.
Yeah, exactly.
And those are who, what, and where.
Exactly.
Framing the game, calling it out, and then resting
it. Yes. Base
Yeah.
reality was my saving grace. It saved the world, base reality.
Base reality could save the world.
It could, honestly.
Truly, that is one problem with the major problem with the world today is we have no shared agreed upon reality.
Yes, there's no shared sense of reality. And it's like we're constantly in Crazyville.
Yes.
Right? Like there's no groundedness at all.
And as soon as you get into a real conversation in real life with people who are like basically on a different Google than you because they have different political beliefs and the algorithm sorts their reality, you very quickly realize that. And you're like, oh, you think this is happening?
Yeah.
And I think this is happening? And we both think it's the other person's fault?
Yeah.
Problem.
I love it. I actually like I love it.
That speaks to the part of you that loves jams.
There's a part of me that like really enjoys that shared experience of like, yeah, we don't see the same reality, but like we're still existing kind of in a world, right? Like it's like there's something really, really fun of watching those two realities clash together because that's like honestly probably what improv is, right?
Yeah, it is realities crashing together. Comedy thrives on differing points of view and differing wants. Yeah, one person sees it one way. Yeah, the unusual character can be like, I'm not an emotional mess. I just wear my heart on my sleeve.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And obviously like a playful reality. Like there's some people that have some dangerous, weird realities that you're like, no, I don't want that.
I don't want that.
I don't want any of that
I just
dangerous.
Yeah,
I want the playful. Yeah, maybe the Earth is flat. I don't know.
I want to stick on the jam for a little bit.
Yeah.
Running and hosting the jam.
Yeah.
What are some things that you've noticed and things that you've learned? Because I know anytime I'm a part of like overseeing a project or being in the leadership role, it takes a while to kind of like dial it in, and there's always like waypoints where you're like, oh, once we figured out XYZ, then it was really on the rails. And I want you to talk about those things so that people listening who run their own jams might learn from that, or people who want to start it.
Yeah, I realized like Anna, PJ, and I, who Anna Rajo and PJ McCormick, who also run the jam with me, is that we started realizing that some people are very intimidated
once they're on stage, like they won't go into a scene.
So once we saw that, we made it a hard fast rule to like, we will grab someone, we would physically grab that. We would like make sure that even if we wanted to come in and do our thing as like the host of it, whether it's like fixing a game or tagging away, we would like include someone who maybe hadn't stepped out, right?
So you kind of grab, meaning like you gently gesture to them and like motion for them to come on with you, and they're usually glad to have a buddy to walk on with, even if they're just standing next to you silently.
That's it.
Yeah.
And my go-to move is always to be like, Mom, Dad, Suzi has something she wants to tell you, maybe, and then like, and honestly, it's the best thing because they could literally say anything and it'll kill, right? Because it's like, obviously we're not like trying to force you to say anything, but it's like, we're also like, just kind of like, maybe tap it. You don't even have to hit it out of the park. You just have to like kind of just tap the ball a little bit, right? Yeah, with the bat. So, that's one thing that we realize like in the jam is like, people are just intimidated. And then you have the other flip side of it where you have the most bold person that wants to be in every single scene ever. It's like, I mean, you see it in class, you see it on indie teams and honestly house teams too.
How do you? It never stops.
It never stops.
How do you handle those people?
I think at some point, like PJ and I kind of got a little fed up with it, where we started just like going in and shooting them and just like killing them in some way. Because it got very, very frustrating. And I think like you do that a few times, like, and you almost like shame them into it, like, but it was like a playful shaming. It wasn't like we never wanted to like have anyone feel alienated or like or like scolded like or anything. We just were like, oh, it's shame. It's like a little shame of being like, hey,
it's just a shaming murder.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we were just like killing in the name of shame. That's it. Yeah,
and playfully.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
it's fun.
Yes, it's fun. It's a playful. We're a Russian agent, and we're in this Arby's where you're making a nuisance.
Do you think they understand in the moment that that's why they're being shot? No, it doesn't register. No, it doesn't register. And then they're right out there for the next scene.
They think they did the funniest thing in the world, and
they think they helped.
Yeah, it's amazing actually. But I will say, like, you do it enough times, and then eventually they do understand. It's like very weird because they're like, "Why does this guy keep killing me?"
Right.
I mean, but that's part of like running the jam, which I also like enjoy that aspect of it. Not shaming anyone, but I look at it as like, and this is also, my therapist told me this, is like, you're supposed to feel shame. Coming up in like communities and villages, like we would shame people to be like, hey, that's not the right way.
It's a signal that says you're not doing social interaction right.
Exactly. Yeah. And then some people obviously like they feel that shame for a long time or whatever, but I would always like make an effort to like go out and shake everyone's hand even after that. And like, I never want to make anyone feel alienated. I just wanted to be like, yeah, like maybe there's a little bit of this like shame sort of thing of like, yeah, maybe step back. We also like make an announcement before the jam to sort of be like, hey, if you find yourself like in every single scene, don't do that.
Right.
If you find yourself on the back line, like step out. I promise we're going to do a scene. We want to do a scene with you, right?
You could even like announce that being shot is the rule. If you are in too many scenes in a row, then we will find a way to enter the scene and shoot your character. And that is a signal to you that you've been in too many in a row.
Honestly, I'm going to use that. I'm going to do that next day.
Then like people are in on it.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like, we don't hate you and we're not trying to ruin the scene. We will just come on as we will figure out a way to be characters in the scene that will kill you.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay. Yeah. So I will now use that. That's incredible. Yeah. That's so smart.
As someone who taught 101 for a long time, I imagine these people who are like, I did the funniest thing and then they shot me, blah, blah, blah. They're going into their 101s the next week and shooting all their scene partners because it got like a huge laugh. It's like, are you creating some monster where they're like, no, shooting is what you should do.
That's how you edit scenes and get people out.
People love it. The boss of the jam was doing it.
The butterfly effect of like just...
You've changed improv for the worse forever.
Oh my gosh.
I have a subscriber question for you that relates to what we are talking about.
Great.
This is from Ivan. What initiations and support moves work best in jams, and what are your personal favorites? Those are kind of two different questions, but No,
I love that question. So what initiations work
and
best?
Support moves. Yeah, you indicated one where like getting someone to enter with you.
Support. Yes, getting someone to bringing someone who hasn't come out definitely works, right? And sort of like lobbing them like this thing being like, we were talking about this sort of,
being a unified front.
Exactly.
I noticed that when I played the one with you guys, you were great at that, where you would bring a couple people on and you'd be like, listen, we're all Arby's employees and we're fed up. And then they know to mirror you.
Exactly,
they know that we as a unit are all this thing.
That's exactly it. It's like, bringing them in and then finding that pattern, right?
Yeah.
Is especially for like newer players, is like find a pattern for it. So
what about on the initiations front?
Yeah, the initiation first and foremost, I'll say, is the best ones are the ones where the person who steps out is the one who's initiates the unusual idea. Obviously, like that's always like, I think that's honestly something you taught me. If you're initiating, like initiate as the unusual one, right?
Yeah.
It's better etiquette. You're also, it's the way you want to, tell your joke is you're going to be the best one to tell that joke.
And it's easier than putting that on the other person's lap. They haven't thought of the unusual thing, so that to suddenly be pimped into playing this point of view is harder than you who are used to it from the 5 seconds that you thought of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the second thing I would say, and this is probably goes back to the person stepping out all the time, let the other person get their idea out, right? Yeah. Don't steamroll that idea or force your idea into, your initiation, or into that. So the best ones I think are, initiating as the unusual person and the other person receiving, allowing them to get their idea out.
I find myself, because people in jams often steamroll or they speak nervously, I find myself trying to get ahead of that by being like, okay, I have something to tell you and I need you to listen to all of it.
Smart.
Like doing that style of thing.
That's very true. Yeah, hopefully it works. There's a few anomalies where it doesn't work.
Yeah.
We also mentioned that at the top, like let people get their ideas out, right? Because we see that a lot. So if we notice like some sort of steamrolling is happening, like maybe there's just like a little bit of like a tag out and then a sort of like allowing the person who like maybe didn't have an opportunity to speak as much, like get their opportunity, right?
You can kind of be the invisible drivers that,
Yeah. So like, oh yeah, that's crazy that happened at work. What were you going to say? What were you trying to tell me about before about those like chickens, like something like that. So just getting them out. So like doing a little bit more of like, I guess I don't even know if it's like refereeing, but more of like
it's like camp
manager.
counselor.
Yeah, camp counselor. I was gonna think for some reason I thought like manager of a soccer team.
Great.
Because that's not that I even watch soccer, but but what a grandiose idea of being a Euro soccer manager and being
and
like,
if you did watch soccer, your eyes would be on the manager. What a cool part of the team.
He's wearing a suit.
He's got a clipboard sometimes.
He's got like a collared shirt and like joggers.
Right.
It's great. He's got
a suit and a zip up Adidas thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, I love it.
God.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Oh my God. I want to fuck a soccer manager.
Yes.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
That soccer manager.
Oh, yeah. And then this person, this is also, we probably covered this, but I just want to hit it. Jay says, what's your approach to playing with performers of different levels? So that kind of fits with what we were saying.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I kind of like play the same with every single level in the sense that I'm just waiting for them to get their idea out, right? And then politely like contributing to that. So like I love playing with a newbie, and I love being surprised by their like spontaneity of the like. It's like so fun that I can get to say yes to something that I wasn't expecting, right? Like when you do this for a long time, you sort of kind of get the structure of like how a joke is going to be told, and you can kind of get ahead of it, especially with like monologues and stories. You can sort of get on the same level of like what kind of joke they're trying to tell. But like when you're playing with like a newbie and then they totally just switch it up on you, it's like the most fun thing.
Do you have an example in your memory of something like that? It's okay if you don't.
I have the worst memory. Oh my
man.
gosh.
Me
I'm trying to think. Oh, there was like a British royalty scene, like a queen and some kind of reporter or something like that. And then I stepped on to be, what was it? I stepped on
a
to
soccer
be
manager.
Yeah, soccer manager. I was getting knighted by the queen because of how hot I am. No, I stepped on as like a guard or, some sort of like Buckingham Palace guard or something, just standing there just to support and fill in the space. Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe jump in if I needed to, if it was going awry.
Shoot the person being a steamroller if you needed to.
Exactly. Yeah. Shoot them. Just like,
You're
had
just
my
there
rifle
as the
ready.
threatening presence of a guard of the scene. Yeah.
And then, getting like labeled, like a hot dog eating champion, like, we have the hot dog eating champion here. And I was like, yep, that's it. And then just started eating the hot dogs.
Did you marry that to your idea? Like you are a Buckingham Palace guard who is a hot dog eating champion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the marrying of it went as far as like me just having a very like Cockney accent and being like, oi, hot dogs.
Wow.
That's it. I know.
Fucking brilliant.
That's the only British accent I do is like a Cockney accent.
A Cockney warthog?
Yeah. So I always imagine it's like the constable that comes up to like Jack the Ripper murder or something is just like, oi, another one.
Oi, enough stabbing of me ladies of the night.
Oi, I better check in on me old lady.
That was fucking great,
Thanks,
man.
yeah.
I loved it.
I love it. Yeah.
let's shift gears a tiny bit. Where do we want to land? You play on Lohan, which is one of my favorite Herald teams.
Yeah, they're great.
You teach now kind of a model that's similar to boot camp, which is just like reps.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
I do. Let's talk about your teaching approach or your teaching philosophy. What is it? Or what are the things that you try to hammer into your students?
Honestly, it's a mix of everything, obviously, that I've learned from you and people like James Mastriani, Ryan. It was like someone who's taught me so much.
You don't have to say him. He's not in the room.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Ryan, get back in here. I need to say it.
I need to say your name. Yeah. I need to name drop you to yourself.
I'll be like afterwards, just be like, dude, like watch the tape. I talked about you the whole time. Like it was cool.
Run it back, bro.
Yeah, run it back. But yeah, no. It's a mix of all that, but then also just bringing in sort of my experience outside of like improv as well. Like I did improv for a teenager, so I've been doing it for a long time.
Where were you a teenager?
I was a teenager in Los Angeles, California.
No kidding.
I was. Yeah.
What neighborhood?
In Burbank.
No shit. Yeah. A Burbank teen.
I am. Yeah.
You're a Valley girl.
I'm a Valley girl. Hey. But I was at the Second City when it was still over at the Improv.
Wow.
So I was 16. They had done this. They wanted to start like a teen sort of class there. And at 15, I was like one of the first ones. And we would do a weekly practice for 3 hours, and then we would end it with a show every week, every Wednesday.
Week.
And
wow.
we called it Detention Hall, and it was just like, I loved it. My teaching approach has always been like, what makes your sense of humor and like, what's your own point of view? And then just like match it to what the scene needs, right? Like everybody talks about like pulling premise and being like, oh, I find this funny. Like, why do you find it? Like, what do you find funny about it? Right. So, and a part of that is just having a grasp on like what your own point of view is, right?
What is your point of view?
Oh man. I would say my emotional state is like, I kind of, and this is an exaggerated, obviously, like point of view. But yeah, I don't know. I got a little bullied feeling of the world, right? Like my emotional state kind of, I walk around being like, oh man, why is this all like happening to me? Right. So I have like a bit of an angle of like, oh yeah, like I've noticed when I comment on things or I talk about things or I reveal things, like there's a little bit of this like, yeah, I'm getting bullied by something in this.
Interesting. Yeah. We don't have to go deep on this, but does that trace back to your
I was
lived
bullied.
experience?
Yeah, I was bullied.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like bullied so bad, like bad bullied.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right. It happens. People get bullied, but it like shaped me in a way for good where like I don't think I would have gotten into comedy if I wasn't bullied, honestly. Like I know this sounds like weird, but I was like physically bullied, right? So a lot of times like what I would try and do is just like get people to laugh so that I wouldn't get bullied in that situation.
A literal defense mechanism.
Yes, it was literally a defense mechanism. Yeah.
It's like a possum playing dead or a porcupine with... It's literally like, don't touch me. Here's why. Hold on, you got to hear the end of the joke. You won't hear it if you punch me in the face.
Don't punch me. Oh, I'll tell her the joke anyways.
It is a great diffusing mechanism, and it is a mechanism to make people like you more than they did. I'm so sorry that happened.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Yeah.
I mean, it's you talking about your comedic point of view being tied to that and be like walking around the world being, why is this happening to me? Made me realize for the first time, like, oh, therapy is a good comedy tool.
Amazing.
Like, I'm learning a lot about my like point of view in therapy, but I've never like yoked it to my comedic point of view. Yeah. But what a great link.
And all of your like lived experiences are sort of just filtered through that sort of emotional state, right? So, all of those like specifics that you can sort of harness at any moment and bring into a scene are going to be filtered through that emotional state. And like I like to bring my POV even into a scene that maybe like that I'm pulling a premise on of someone else's maybe point of view, or like I'm making an assumption on someone else's point of view. I'll still like incorporate a little bit of myself in there, because it grounds me. It grounds me to the scene. Locks me in.
Puts you in your own
Locks
skin.
me in,
When we look at this, let's zoom in and talk about the practicality of it. When you talk about that you look at the world through this lens of someone who's been bullied, how does that manifest in scenes? Are you playing characters who are put upon, who are like, oh, geez, I don't want to do this again?
A lot of my characters, bad things are happening to me, even as the unusual person. Like, I think there's a misconception of like everybody when they watch improv, they're like, oh man, the unusual person is like, it's funny because they're ruining the other person's day, and like they're winning and like all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to win as like an unusual person. Like I want to always like make myself the like butt of the situation. And I think
like being the Charlie Brown.
Exactly. Yes, I love missing the football. I do. All my scenes are all football scenes, but soccer football as a manager. But I love like kind of this, and maybe this is like more therapizing, but like I love like being just like everybody looking and laughing and being like, oh man, I can't believe that guy is going through that. He's having the worst day ever.
Yeah. How do you serve that up for yourself? Do you initiate scenes that way?
Yeah, I put myself into situations that where it's not necessarily that you want to initiate in a base reality that's going to be disrupted, and like I try not to have a base reality where like the other person's world is going to be disrupted. It's in a way where I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this person fired, or I'm going to get this person like
it's a quiet insular problem.
It's more it's more just like the idea of like, oh man, what the fuck? Why just get this guy out of here?
Yeah,
you know, because it's like
you're in the office, your sandwich is wet.
Exactly. Yes.
That doesn't affect me.
Yes.
But oh my god, my sandwich is wet again.
Yeah, and it's more of just like this moment. Like if I was to leave, everyone would kind of just be like, what happened? Like who was that guy? Right. So I like that. It's not like, oh no, now our numbers are, down. Our whole business is going bankrupt because this crazy unusual guy did something, right?
It's interesting that you called out that is kind of the momentum, or the more common perception is the unusual person is the one knocking the house of cards down that the other characters are building, and you're playing an unusual character who is a victim, or who is just things that he's a loser.
He's kind of a loser, like a little bit, right? And I think there's a part of, and this goes back to like just having a grasp on your own like point of view, that you want to like look at these people as like normal people that do like an unusual thing, right? Like they're just like constantly like just are the most normal people. And so like the most normal to me is like to have like a little bit of this like, bullied attitude to myself, right? So I will constantly like put myself into like base realities where I will look like a fool as opposed to like looking like a bully,
There you go.
That's it.
Yeah, you don't want to be the...
Well, I got to text my therapist. I figured it out.
Yeah, you can't play the monster that ruined your life.
It really honestly is.
You're like allergic to it.
Yeah, and when I do play it, it's like it's not good. It's just like, it's hard for me to think in that way.
Does that mean that you never play high status characters also? Like if someone makes you like the leader of a meeting, or and you're taking charge in the war room, are you able to take that on if it's not a bully? Yeah,
I could take on those high status roles. If I'm playing it from a voice of reason side, like I could for sure take on that, where I kind of almost get my voice back, and I'm able to, come from that like empowered place, right? So it's like I have a POV of like feeling bullied, but like when I get into a scene with unusual person, I'm able to kind of like fight back a little bit, and like I get empowered on that side. Is that what you're asking, or are you asking it as if like someone made me a general and I was still like unusual?
Like just if you're able to grab a high status role and run with it, or if you get a little bit shell shocked in playing any high status.
I think I get a little shell shocked sometimes. It really depends. There's a few that I just like can't, like few things I can't really do well. Like I can't do like suave like guy really well. Like I can try, but which I guess it kind of works too, because it's like suave guy, like looking like an idiot. But like you don't want a cool suave guy. You want an idiot looking suave guy. But
when you said suave guy, it like made me think of my own experience of like anytime I have to play like a seductress or like a dancer or like someone who like actually uses their body in like an actually sensual, elegant way, I can't do it. Yeah. So I have to like exaggerate it and do it like in kind of a clownish way.
Yes.
But it's a different joke. And there's part of me that really wishes that I could genuinely commit and play it, but I don't have that acuity with my body and my physicality. And I don't see myself as like physically elegant and, you know, so I relate to that suave conundrum.
Yeah.
When you play a suave guy, like let's say you're made that, or it serves the herald the best to like initiate the second beat that way. Yeah. Are you like pushing it and mugging it a little bit in it, because you normally play so grounded and straight faced? Are you pushing it a little bit into the cartoonish area?
I think so. When I'm feel uncomfortable, I do get into a cartoonish little sort of area. For sure, I do. Like there's one that I think of. I was playing like a seductive like woman who was like at a bar, and I was wearing the lipstick the same color of my dog's dick. So and like, but like I like, and I was doing the base reality, but I was like, I was trying really hard to sort of keep it grounded in that world, but it was still like very hard to play. Like it still was uncomfortable, but I've been trying to like challenge myself on Herald Night to play those roles that I don't feel so comfortable in, and still being like the butt of the joke and coming from that same POV that we talked about, but like but just sort of like getting myself out of my comfort zone of it, right? But I still I feel uncomfortable doing it. There's a few that I could do just because they're like tropey, right? Like you do the cop interrogating, and like you've seen enough TV shows and movies that you can sort of mimic that, you know, The Shield or something like that. But you could sort of sell it. Also, like I'm an actor, I can audition. You know, I audition for this stuff, and weirdly, I book a lot of like dramatic stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it's like it's a lot of dramatic stuff, but.
I would guess that you book 1,000 commercials a year.
I do book a lot of commercials
as like the tagline at the very end.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually like one of the things like coming up was like I have this like very much just a reaction kind of like to, it's more like the unusual person does like their thing, like the flow, and then it's my like look and like what or something like that.
There it is.
Yeah, and that was like my improv for a lot of like time, especially when I first started at like UCB, and it was you and like Nick Mandernock who both said to me, you gotta emotionally commit, like they're doing stuff to you, like you can't just like stand there and just be like this, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a part of that sort of obviously like being like, oh yeah, this is what books and makes money for me, but also like, you know, there's more to you than that, right?
Yeah, and it's like a volume thing, like not just, I don't mean literal audio volume, although that plays into it, but it's like on a slider, you know, if you looked at like the board of your abilities, you live in a wheelhouse that is so deadpan, straight-faced, almost low energy, but if we took that slider up, that same character can be reactive and intense in that way, just a little bit more.
Yeah.
So like, how does that guy react, when we needle him and poke him, and how does he notice something? And it's important.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I think I agree wholeheartedly. And I think with that note and putting it into effect and like practicing it and putting it into my work and scenes and whatnot is, it also allowed me to be like, oh yeah, this is the other way of telling this joke, is like where we are kind of in that joke is like also how I react in that situation, right? It's like at the top, I'm like maybe a little bit, emotionally affected or whatever, but like by the end of it, I should be very emotionally affected because something has to matter to me in that scene in order for this joke to like really, really hit.
And in order for it to sustain the scene.
And to sustain it too. And to watch that trajectory, right? Like we'll watch all of these movies or TV shows, like they're written in the same way. And I think it didn't really like click to me that like I could also just take my acting class stuff or like my writing class stuff and like put it into my improv. And like once I did that, it was like, oh yeah, like we're all speaking the same language. Like, yeah.
What are things that went in from those areas? Like what are things that went in from your writing class, or what are the...
But the writing class, I mean, just it's very, objectives, right? Like having stakes in your scenes are things too. But
does
like
every scene need stakes?
I think so. I think like every scene needs stakes, and I don't mean it in the way of like, oh, stakes of like, oh, we're
the
an
Capitol
earthquake.
is going to blow up.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a hot air balloon flying into an airport. I keep saying that because that actually happened to me. We almost
really.
I was in Mexico and my wife and I were on a hot air balloon, and the guy was like, yeah, we hope this wind dies down because we're flying near the airport. And I was like, holy shit, dude.
Fuck.
You hope it
dies down?
It's like, it was a terrifying thing. Anyways, but that's also part of like sense of humor, is like you flash into those things, like being conscious of those things. But
use what you know.
Use what you know.
All your scenes are about your one memory, which is that hot air balloon.
It's all everything I do is about the hot air balloon where I almost died. What was the question? I forgot what we were talking about.
That does every scene need stakes?
Yes.
And you were saying like it doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, there's an earthquake.
Yeah.
But stakes in the sense where just it matters.
It has to matter to you in any way. And this is what I always like try and strive for, is that I'm even if it's like the most basic thing, that it's at that moment the most important thing for me. Like it's everything. My want is at the forefront of this scene, as a voice of reason, at least, right? And I think also too, as an unusual person, like we want the same want. That should always be kind of like your goal. And I think I learned that in acting, right? It's like, what do you want in the scene, and like why are you saying these lines? What do you want? What's the subtext of it? What's the objective? I think they have like different names for it, like objective, agenda, all of those things, right? So it's like, that's always at the forefront of my mind on both sides of like, both sides of the aisle here.
Meaning if you're unusual or voice of reason.
Or voice of reason, yeah. So those stakes are like, even if it's just a first date, it's like, yeah, this is a first date that, and I'm a divorcee that just got out of a relationship, and I feel insecure because like I don't think I'm ever gonna find anyone else, right? And my partner's already moved on, and they're in Bora Bora, and I just saw their Instagram, right? And it's like,
and you cram all of that into a 7-sentence initiation,
yes.
And then the sweep edit comes, and that's comedy.
Honestly, that's it. Yeah, I start that. They say the first line, we're on a first date, and I say all of that at the top, and then I don't even let them get their thing on. Yeah, I'm that guy. Someone comes in and shoots
you. Yeah, you don't get it. You pull the bullet out and keep going.
Oof. Yeah. And I almost got killed.
As a divorcee whose partner has moved on in Bora Bora. And they blow dart you.
And I'm being assassinated by Bora Bora natives. I don't know.
Keep going.
I don't know. I can't. I'm out of steam here.
As you were talking about like your point of view being like a put upon character, or that's what you prefer to initiate as, do you feel like that hems you in or like limits your improv, that you're kind of playing in this narrow lane and not looking at a wider scope? Or do you think it helps it because it's like it gives you more gas to go further?
Yeah, I think it could be limiting. Like if you're telling like a joke the same way like over and over again, like it could be limiting. But I think though what it does for me is just like it allows me to like fully just feel confident in myself a little bit, to like be able to like, oh yeah, I could challenge myself, I could play that seductress, right? Which is what I've been trying to do. But I don't think I would do that if I didn't really have a grasp on the way that I sort of like already kind of navigate to, right? The thing that I navigate to, like now maybe I can play that sort of like not bully character, but maybe just like a more empowering character. You
start at your home base and then go outwards in concentric circles.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And I think that it's always nice to have that sort of home base to like fall back on. But it's a foundation, right? So it's like I think about like my sense of humor and stuff, like I have my foundation and then like I'm able to like try and challenge myself into other areas. And I get motivate or encouraged by like, you know, coaches like you and other people like just being like, yeah, hey, try this, right? You have that home base of like being very deadpan and your delivery there, but it's like try, you know, being affected by it, right? Like how do
here's just a light suggestion, Joe. Try fucking acting in your scene
honestly,
for once.
Honestly, that is like I truly I know you're making a joke here, but like that's honestly that clicked for me. Like that's what like really got me out of my shell, and I was like, this is that's what I need to bring to this, because I know this. I know how to do this aspect of like performing. And so when you said that, I was like, oh, I can do that. And then I started noticing the people that I enjoyed watching were acting, right? And they were committing emotionally and coming at it, you know, from a place of like an emotional place, right?
And it gives you somewhere to go.
Yes.
Because if you're actually committing to the emotion, that can grow and build.
Yes.
Yosemite Sam, the first time a puddle sprays him is just frickin'. But by the end, he's jumping on his hat and shooting it full of bullet holes.
It's motivation, right? It's motivation for like being physical and like doing something on stage, right? Yes. Otherwise you're just like sitting there and you're like, oh, I'm a wet blanket.
I don't know. Yeah. And a roadmap.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially objective also is a roadmap.
Yes.
Like if you tie those together, like emotion and objective, then you never are at a loss for what to say or do next, because you know what you want and you know that you care about it. So just play like that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Like I love like having a roadmap or a blueprint for something, right? And those blueprints are honestly the most fun part of like improv to me, is like to write that, like what that blueprint is, and just like kind of building the playground that we're going to sort of like fuck around with, right? And so it's like, I love like being like, over here we're gonna build like this like swing set, and then like the person comes in and then they like tear down the swing set or something, right? It's like, oh, I didn't like this. Oh, I'm gonna build up this slide over here, and this shit on the slide. I don't know. Or tear it down. Probably just batternize it. They tear it down. No, they shit. Yeah, we're all right. Well, if this is true, what else? Yeah, they shit now.
But the shit is so big that it tears it down.
It tears it down. That's it.
For part 2 of this episode, go to yesalso.supercast.com. If you like this podcast and you want double the content, head over to yesalso.supercast.com and subscribe. You can also help us out for free by subscribing to us on YouTube and talking us up to your improv communities. If you have a question that you'd like us to answer in one of our Q&A episodes, or a topic that you think would make a great bonus episode, put it in a 5-star review. If you're a theater who would like to host us for a live recording and improv show, let us know at yesalsopod@gmail.com. A very special thanks to our producer, Ryan Rosenberg, audio and video editor, Brian Kessler, and Britt Faye, who does our marketing. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. No, we won't, Suzi. That's not how podcasts work. They won't even see us. They will listen to us, so it's actually the opposite of both things you said. Thanks for listening, and you will listen to us next week. Maybe. We don't know.